What's going on, guys? Nathan here, and today I want to share with you a simple Texas Hold'em poker strategy that's been working very well for me lately. It includes a bluff, spoiler alert, and I think it will help you out as well, so let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so today I'm going to walk you step by step through an example hand, and yes, there's going to be a bluff at the end. People always ask me, Nathan, what do you do when you don't hit top pair? You don't hit any pair. You know, poker's a really simple game when you got pocket aces, or you got ace king and there's a king on the flop. Anybody can play those situations. In today's strategy that I'm going to teach you, we don't have anything. Squadoosh, we're going to bluff at the end. Alright, so let me dive right into this strategy, which I call the double float bluff river. I've never actually made a video here on the channel about it, but I've spoken about this strategy many times before, so I wanted to lay it all out for you today. So first thing I need to point out is that this strategy is a little bit advanced. For those of you guys who are beginners to the game of poker, you play super low stakes, I wouldn't really recommend using this strategy very often because there's a lot of calling stations at those stakes who will simply just call you down, and you know, this strategy will basically go right over their head. So you want to be playing a little bit higher stakes against better sort of thinking opponents, as I call them, people watching videos like this, people who take the game seriously. Alright, so let's jump right into the hand. So a tag, tight, and aggressive player raises in middle position. Now I'm not going to go through all the player types and the table positions and everything like that. I'm going to assume that you know that, and if you don't, I have a free poker cheat sheet, which will be the top link in the description below, which goes into detail about all the player types, charts showing you what hands to play, everything of that sort. Once again, that'll be the top link in the description below. But tag raises middle position and you're on the button with ace 7 of hearts. So what do we do in a spot like this? Well guys, this is going to be a typical call for me in this situation, looking to outplay one of these decent regulars, a tag, tight, and aggressive player. Now the important thing to note here, of course, is that we are in position, and as I've mentioned in many of the videos on this channel before, is that I use position very often in poker in order to outplay good players, and that's exactly what we're going to do in today's hand. So flop comes down with the 5 of diamonds, 9 of spades, and 10 of hearts. So basically we don't have a whole lot going on this flop here. We do have an overcard with our ace, and a good overcard, the best overcard, and we also have a backdoor nut flush draw. If it came heart heart on the turn and river, we'd make the best flush possible. But this is not really the kind of board that we're looking to flop with ace 7 of hearts, but we knew that going into the hand. You're only going to hit the flop roughly 1 out of 3 times in Texas Hold'em with a random hand, so you have to find ways to win pots like this when you don't have anything, earn pots against good players, and that's really the heart of what we're going to discuss today. So remember, we're last to act here, of course, so the tag player is going to make their standard continuation bet in this situation. We're going to assume they bet their, 50% of the pot, pot's $10, they bet $5, something like that. So what should we be doing here? Let's talk about it. So guys, this is basically a spot that is a standard float for me in poker. Now let me define a float really quickly for those of you guys who are newer to the game. A float in poker is when you are in position and you are going to call on the flop or the turn as well, as we're going to discuss in a second, which is called a double float. And the important point to note here, guys, is that our intention is to take away the pot later on. We're not just calling for something to do here. That's the mistake that so many people make. They're just clicking buttons if they play online poker, or in their casino, they're just calling for something to do. They're not really thinking through the hand. Guys, you need to always understand that we're using position and we're looking for boards where we have at least something. We do have a little bit of something here. Backdoor flush draw, strong overcard. So we have a plan to take away this pot. And we're going to talk about what turn and river cards are important later on in order for us to win this pot versus this player. So as I said, this is a standard float for me. You should call in this situation. We already talked about our intention to take away the pot later on, so let's go see the turn. So the turn comes down with the 8 of diamonds. So the board now reads 5 of diamonds, 9 of spades, 10 of hearts, and 8 of diamonds. So when we look at this board, what does this sort of scream? Well, this screams one of the boards that really should be hitting our range and not so much the range of the tag, tight and aggressive. Remember that this player, who is a regular, decent player, tight and aggressive, raised from middle position. Their range in that spot pre-flop is typically going to be a lot of strong Broadway hands, strong ace hands. So I'm talking about hands like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, king queen, king jack. They're going to have a lot lot of pocket pairs in their range. Some of them, of course, did hit this board, do have a set here, but guys, you need to always remember that there's a lot more combinations of a Broadway hand like King Jack, for example, than there is for a pocket pair. So basically, when we consider their entire range in this situation, they should have missed this board most of the time. And us as the pre-flop caller, we are typically more likely to have these sort of middling cards. Suited connectors, which absolutely love this board, is much more in the range of the pre-flop caller, and also mid pocket pairs, low pocket pairs, which are also hands that love this kind of board. So the tag player does go ahead and bet again. Now, as I've discussed in videos on the channel before here, a lot of these sort of aggressive regulars in today's games, they like to double barrel. So that's what this is called here, double barreling, betting the turn again. And often, if you're playing online poker, you can just use a program like Poker Tracker, and I literally have that on my screen at all times, their double barrel percentage. And I noticed that a lot of the tight and aggressive and loose and aggressive players are often over 50% in today's games. But we know, as we just talked about, that they don't have anything most of the time here. A lot of times they're just bluffing here with their ace king, ace queen, ace jack. And again, as we just mentioned, this board smacks our range as the pre-flop caller, not their range. So putting all the pieces together here, what should we be doing? Well, you should be calling again, what I call a double float. I actually have an entire video on this in my brand new Elite Poker Training University. I'll link that up in the description below if you want to go deeper into this topic. Enrollment is open right now, but basically, guys, yes, you want to be calling here again. And again, I need to point out that the entire goal of a double float is to take it away on the river, which we're going to discuss right now. All right, so let's go see the river, and this is all about making them fold, because guys, we're going to miss everything here. I should have mentioned that we did pick up a straight draw on the turn there, so we did actually pick up some additional equity. Not a great straight draw, because the jack would give us the bottom end of the straight, as I've talked about before here. That's a straight you don't want to be chasing, but we know that we have a significant range advantage versus this player, as we already discussed. So the tag predictably gives up on the 4 of spades here. Board now reading 5 of diamonds, 9 of spades, 10 of hearts, 8 of diamonds, and 4 of spades on the river. There's a couple possible straights going on here, but basically this is not a board that a tag who opens in middle position is going to like, and so predictably they do check on the river. And typically, guys, what I've noticed in small and even mid-stakes games is that when the aggressive players check on the river here, it's often a white flag that they're giving up, that they're allowing you to take away the pot from them. Most players, what I've noticed, again, at small and mid-stakes games, is that they will be aggressive on the flop, and they'll often be aggressive on the turn as well, as we've checked, but most of them don't have the heart to fire the triple barrel. Especially on a board like this, a decent thinking regular like this, they know that they're not representing anything on this board. And so even though we don't have anything, this is the meta game of poker when it's played at a higher level. We know that the range advantage is for us here, and therefore this is a routine bluffing spot for me. Now, the other important thing I want to point out here, guys, is that you need to bet a solid amount here. The biggest mistake that most people make here is when they do correctly pull the trigger on the bluff here, they'll only bet 40% of the pot. You know, the pot's $100, they'll bet $40. And this is just going to get the tag to hero call you with his ace queen. We don't want that to happen, guys. So you need to bet $80 into the $100 pot, 80% of the pot, in order to put them to the test. In order to let them know, hey, we're serious here. I'm not going to allow you to hero call us for cheap here. So guys, I hope that this example helped you understand how I take away pots from good players in Texas Hold'em. This is an absolutely bread and butter strategy that you must know as you start moving up the stakes and playing against better opponents. Guys, once again, you're only going to hit a pair roughly 1 out of 3 times in Texas Hold'em. You can't just play your cards. You got to be able to take away pots like this when you don't have anything. Let me know what bluffs have been working best for you in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And if you want to know my entire strategy to crush these small and mid stakes, make sure you grab a copy of my free poker cheat sheet. That'll be the top link in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.